0% taxes on dividends from your own company, 0% on dividends from stock investments, 0% on rental income, and 0% on any kind of interest income. Yes, this is possible. Yes, this is legal. And yes, I still live in Europe. I know it sounds unbelievable, but let me explain. Hey everybody, it's Rico, and in this video I will talk about the incredible benefits of the non-dom status here in Cyprus. When you move to Cyprus, you can obtain the so-called non-dom status, and that will exempt you from any kind of dividend tax for the next 17 years. But actually, a lot of people don't even need the non-dom status. So let's identify first who even needs the non-dom status. Non-dom means non-domiciled and is indicating that a person is living in a specific country and a tax resident there, but this person is not permanently residing in this country, and it has nothing to do with the citizenship. It's purely tax related, and specifically tax related for people that receive the majority of their income via capital gains or dividends, not salary income. People that work as an employee and receive a salary, for example, they actually have to pay income tax as well as social insurance, and that is actually pretty high here in Cyprus. But when you receive your money via dividends, then the non-dom status comes into play. As a non-dom individual, you're exempt from the special defense contribution, the SDC, and this is actually the dividend tax as well as the rental income tax, or even the taxes for all kinds of interest income such as ETFs, rights, or whatever there is out there. It normally ranges from 17 to 30%, but as a non-dom, your dividends and co are reduced to zero. In Germany, for example, it's flat 25% on everything. And in Germany, there is no way around it. But very important, actually, it's not really 0%. Yes, the tax is 0%, but all dividends are subject to the NHS, the National Health System, and there we have to pay 2.65% on all dividends. It's still very low, yes, and we also get a healthcare service for that, but it's worth mentioning here. And also another note, this is not relevant for capital gains, because capital gains, or if you're selling something for a profit, is tax-free here in Cyprus in general for everyone, also people without a non-dom, but the non-dom is only applying for dividends. Back to salaries. I actually also receive a salary because I'm the employee of my own company. I am employer and employee at the same time, and thus I also have to pay income tax as well as social insurance tax on my salary. It's about 27% in total, half of which the employee is paying and the other half the employer. Now listen very carefully, because once a year I'm paying myself out a dividend out of my own company, and here usually the SDC should apply the dividend tax, but because I have the non-dom status, I am exempt from this. This applies to all kinds of dividends from all kinds of shares that you own, from your own company, even from public listed companies, and also from offshore companies. But something that most people don't know is that there are very rare cases where it doesn't work. And one of those cases is if the dividend paying company pays less than 6.25% in corporate tax, then this doesn't apply. So let's say you own an offshore company in the Seychelles, and as a non-dom tax resident in Cyprus, you're paying yourself a dividend from the Seychelles company. Doesn't work that easy. Important note, this is only the case if the receiver is a company. As an individual, you can still receive dividends tax-free. So we always need to distinguish whether the dividend gets paid to an individual or to a company. But of course, there are always workarounds, and if you need help with that, reach out to me via the video description. So the non-dom status is for entrepreneurs that have clients that they issue invoices to, receive money into a business bank account, paying the low corporate tax here in Cyprus, then sending that money out of the company to you personally as a dividend, paying 0% taxes but effectively 2.65%, and then, well, enjoy your life here in Cyprus. But if you don't have your own company and you're working for a company abroad as a contractor or an employee, actually also what not a lot of people know about is that even then you can receive your gross salary completely tax-free here in Cyprus. There's a relatively new scheme here in Cyprus where you can receive your complete salary tax-free that you receive from another country here in Cyprus, and you only need to spend more than 90 days outside of Cyprus for that. Also, there are some other requirements and it's very individual. It also doesn't work with every employer, so definitely make sure to reach out to find out if it works for you. Now, second, who can obtain the non-dom status? The non-dom status was invented to attract wealthy people and investors from all over the world to reside here and spend their money here. Thus, everyone that is interested in tax-free dividends can obtain the non-dom status. But there are 3 very important requirements for that, and that is 1, you actually need to become a tax resident here in Cyprus, and for that 2, you need to spend at least 60 days here in Cyprus and not more than 183 days in any other country, because then you become a tax resident of the other country. And 3, you also need to either rent a property here or to buy a property here in order to prove that you will live here in Cyprus. Of course, there is also a lot of paperwork involved, but if you're working with a professional agency, it's not really much more work than just signing some documents. And if you want to have my recommendation, definitely also check out the video description. For locals, it's actually pretty interesting because they actually have to pay the dividend tax unless they spent more than 17 years of the last 20 years outside of Cyprus, and then they can also become a non-dom individual here in Cyprus. And now 3, how do you actually get the non-dom status? And that is actually very easy. As a European person, you just need to have your yellow slip, which is your temporary residency here in Cyprus. And as a non-European person, you need to have your pink slip, which is also the temporary residency here. And with that, either yellow or pink slip, you can apply for the non-dom status. Again, I really recommend you to do it with a professional because 1, there is a language barrier, a lot of the paperwork is actually in Greek, and 2, for certain things you actually need a lawyer, and the better the lawyer, the faster you will have your non-dom status. Once you have your non-dom status, you will be exempt of any kinds of dividend taxes for the next 17 years. And a lot of people ask me if the non-dom status will be there forever because they don't want to move to Cyprus now, they want to do it in 1, 2, 3 years, and no one really knows if the non-dom status will be there forever. But there are opinions, and my opinion is even if they will change something in the future because Europe is pressuring Cyprus or whatever, we will find out about it sooner than later. And you will find out about it on this channel, so definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.